Banished unjustly to the darkness, a legend returns to the light. I thought it was important to talk about the brand new news surrounding Chris Avellone, and this is indeed big news for all aficionados of RPGs and CRPGs, and that is the fact that right now, at this current moment in time, the once and future king of RPG writing, Chris Avellone, has returned in full force. Many of you might already be familiar with Chris Avellone, but in a nutshell, he's historically been the guy who has made RPGs and CRPGs stand out for their narrative, story, and writing. And when you compare various games, especially those made by Obsidian, with his writing contributions and input to those without them, the difference is as clear as day. Pillars of Eternity versus Pillars of Eternity 2 comes to mind because the writing is so much better in the first game, where Chris Avellone was directly participating, and Deadfire is noticeably worse when it comes to writing. And just to give you a glimpse of the man's relatively storied career, and to give you an overview of some of the games he has worked on over the years in a major capacity, you have him starting off with Fallout 2 as a designer. He was the lead designer and lead writer for Planescape Torment, and anyone who knows Planescape Torment knows that it is one of the greatest RPGs, or better put, CRPGs of all time. He was designer for Icewind Dale, a senior designer for Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, a designer for Icewind Dale 2. He was a level designer and script doctor for Champions of Norath, lead designer and lead writer for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, senior designer for Neverwinter Nights 2, as well as Mask of the Betrayer. And many of you might know that Neverwinter Nights 2 Mask of the Betrayer is perhaps the best DLC ever in the history of gaming. He was a senior designer and project lead for most of Fallout New Vegas. He worked on Wasteland 2. He's a writer for Pillars of Eternity. He was the original world and story designer for Tyranny, which has a great story that is obvious if you played it. He was a writer for Torment, Ties of Numenera, Prey. He was an additional narrative designer for Divinity Original Sin 2, Pathfinder Kingmaker, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. He was an additional writer for Wasteland 3, and finally he was the narrative designer for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. So he has a pretty beefy CV behind him. And now it's been announced that Chris is back in action at a new studio helping to create a brand new RPG. Games writer and designer Chris Avellone has joined up with Republic Games to work on the studio's upcoming release. Republic Games was set up last year by Adam Williams, the former lead writer for Quantic Dream's Detroit Become Human and Star Wars Eclipse, with backing from Krafton. At this time, it was revealed that the team was working on a handcrafted, quote-unquote, dark, mature fantasy RPG. Now, announcing Avellone's new position at Republic Games, Williams said the studio was very excited to work with Chris and has shared a few more details on what players can expect on the upcoming game's arrival. As you'd expect from the team, our RPG will feature a rich, interesting story with lots of meaningful choices, branches, and endings, Williams told Eurogamer today. Our world will feature a totalitarian regime seeking to crush a rebellion with competing factions and allegiances the player can join, giving them the full freedom to create the hero or anti-hero they want to be. There's also a deep undercurrent of prophecy and the supernatural, which will elevate the player's adventures into the realm of mythology. But in addition to the narrative, we also have full classic RPG gameplay, including combat, character creation, recruitable companions, romances, and more. Our ambition is to combine that golden age of RPGs design with a next-level interactive storytelling. Williams added that Avellone is a master of interactive storytelling and someone he is glad to have joined the Republic Games team. In 2020, Avellone was the subject of sexual harassment allegations, and some chose to distance themselves from the developer. Avellone was cleared of these allegations in 2023. In a separate public statement, Avellone himself added, "When Adam shared his vision and design for his upcoming title, I asked him if I could collaborate, and Adam was more than willing to bring me on board as part of the team. I love the design principle he's outlining for the game, and even better, I love the narrative construction he's implementing as well. To be part of it on the ground floor is pretty amazing, and it's a rare opportunity in the industry." While for now further details on Republic Games' upcoming RPG remain under wraps, Last year, Williams confirmed Brian and Amelia Duchart, who were part of the main cast in Detroit Become Human, are planning to appear in the upcoming release. Now, I want to briefly talk about the allegations that were leveled against Chris a while back, because they literally cost him years of his life and opportunities to work within the industry. And it's important as a lesson of why we never want politics ruining and directing game development. Now, back in 2020, Chris was accused by 2 women of sexual harassment and misconduct, where they alleged that he had abused his status in the industry to take advantage of women. Now, one of the actual claims made by one of the accusers, a woman named Carissa Barrows, whom you can see on the screen, was the following. She said that Chris was a quote-unquote abusive, abrasive, conniving sexual predator who had attempted to sexually assault her after getting her blackout drunk. And all this was claimed on a Twitter post, mind you. Her accomplice, Kelly Bristol, also made her share of false claims. All this, of course, was libel, and a year later, Chris Avellone filed a libel lawsuit against them, with him ultimately winning a settlement in the 7 figures and forcing them to retract their statements and issue new ones. And please notice how you don't hear a lick of repentance, regret, or even a sincere apology. Mr. Avellone never sexually abused either of us. We have no knowledge that he has ever sexually abused any women. We have no knowledge that Mr. Avellone has ever misused corporate funds. Anything we have previously said or written about Mr. Avellone to the contrary was not our intent. We wanted to support women in the industry. In doing so, our words have been misinterpreted to suggest specific allegations of misconduct that were never expressed nor intended. We are passionate about the safety and security and agency of women, minorities, LGBTQIA+ persons, and in every other community that has seen persecution in the video game industry. We believe Mr. Avellone shares a desire to protect and uplift those communities. We believe that he deserves a full return to the industry and support him in those endeavors. Now, obviously, this is a lot of PR spin. Of course, it's all BS. They don't really mean it. They were forced to make this statement, obviously, due to Chris Avellone winning the libel case. But their statements really do tell the whole story. These were 2 power-hungry women driven by political ideology to ruin an innocent man's life simply because they thought they could do so and get away with it. Though fortunately, they were not able to and had to pay a pretty hefty price for their mendacity. But even so, the damage was and is done, as almost immediately after the false accusations were made, people and developers dropped Chris, and even though he has been exonerated, the taint of false sexual allegations is hard to wash out. All thanks to these power-hungry women who really have no place in gaming, and certainly not in game development, because all they care about is pushing their politics, and not only their politics into games, but also ruining people's lives IRL in the process. But fortunately, Chris is finally again working on a project he seemingly is truly hyped for. The description of it really gives off Tyranny vibes, and as Chris has helped make Tyranny in the past as good as it was, it's hard not to be excited about this title too as a player. From the sounds of it, the game appears promising, and it also looks like Chris will be covering most of the writing, which is a good thing. Now personally, I'm hoping for a large-scale isometric CRPG with unparalleled choice, and if anyone can deliver it, it is the once and future king of RPG writing, Chris Avellone. Let's hope for many more prosperous years of writing games for Chris, and let's hope that this game he's working on turns out awesome. But as always, thank you for tuning in. And if you like my content, you like my takes, you can leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's much appreciated as it really helps out the channel. And I'll check you out next time. Take care.